right, let's talk about pricing. It's one of the most powerful tools you have for growing your business, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the critical pricing mistakes that might be, well, silently killing your growth. So, does this sound familiar? You're doing everything right. You've got an amazing product, you're working crazy hard, maybe you even have some loyal customers, but the numbers just aren't budging. It's so frustrating, right? So, you start looking everywhere for the problem. Is it my marketing, my sales team, the competition? But what if the real culprit is something you look at every single day but never really see? Yep, we're talking about your pricing. And this brings us to our first big idea, the hidden growth problem. It's this frustrating reality that sometimes having a great product and working hard just isn't enough. We see it all the time with these incredible Indian entrepreneurs, right? From a boutique in Jaipur to a DTC brand in Mumbai, they're pouring their hearts into amazing products, but their pricing just doesn't match the value. And because of that, all that hard work, it's just not turning into real sustainable growth. Okay, so mistake number one, and this is probably the most common one out there, is what we call the cost plus trap. Now, it feels like the safe way to do things, right? It's logical, it's simple math, but as you're about to see, it's actually putting a hard limit, a ceiling, on your growth potential. Okay, so look at this. On the one hand, you have the common way. You figure out your cost, you add the margin you want, and boom, that's your price. It's all about you. But the smart way, it completely flips that on its head. It starts with the customer and asks, what value do they see in this? It's a total mindset shift, and it's absolutely crucial. And this really gets to the heart of it. Customers don't buy your cost, they buy your value. Just think about it for a second. Imagine two boutiques, both selling the exact same kurti. One prices it at 900 rupees because, well, that's their cost plus a little extra. The other one, they sell it for 2,500 rupees. Why? Because they're not just selling fabric and thread. They're selling a story, a feeling, an identity. See, when you underprice, you're basically telling your customers you don't think you're worth more. And this leads us right into mistake number two, the discount dependency. Look, we all get excited for a big festive sale, right? But if that's your main strategy, it can seriously backfire and trap you in a really dangerous cycle.
And here's how that vicious cycle works. First, you run a big sale to get people in the door. And it works. You see a huge spike in sales, and that feels amazing. But what you've actually done is trained your customers to only buy when there's a discount. So what happens? Your profit margins get totally squeezed. And then you feel like the only way to get another sales rush is, you guessed it, run another big sale. You end up just running in place, working harder and harder for less and less money.
And here's the tough truth. That's not loyalty. That's dependency. Customers who only show up for a sale, they're not loyalty to your brand. They're loyalty to the discount. Real loyalty is when people believe in what you're doing so much that they're happy to pay full price because they know it's worth every single rupee. All right, on to mistake number three, which is all about creating a value perception gap. What is that? Well, it's what happens when your price sends a totally different message than the rest of your brand. You got to remember, your price isn't just a number. It's a story. It tells your customer exactly who you are and what you stand for.
I mean, think about it. Your Instagram feed looks super premium. The photography is gorgeous. But then your prices look like they belong in a clearance bin. It's confusing. Imagine seeing that beautiful feed, walking into an elegant shop, and then the tag says 499 rupees. Your first thought isn't, wow, what a deal. It's, what's wrong with this thing? That gap, that disconnect, it just kills trust.
Exactly. Like we said, pricing isn't just numbers, it's communication. It's telling a story about your quality, your craftsmanship, and the value you bring. When your price is consistent with your brand story, people see you as authentic and reliable, not, cheap or all over the place. This brings us to a whole bunch of mistakes that all come from one place, fear. So ask yourself, are you pricing with fear? Are you just going with a gut feeling instead of looking at the data? Are you noticing that your mid-range stuff sells the best, but you never stop to ask why? Are you just terrified to raise your prices even when your own costs are going up? Or maybe you've been using the same price list for years. All of that's pricing with fear. But here's the thing. Sometimes just a small, well-communicated price increase, we're talking just 5 to 10%, can make a massive difference to your profits. And it does something else too. It sends a message of confidence. It tells the market that you know your worth. Okay, so let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway here? What should your pricing really be doing for you? Look, pricing isn't just about covering your costs and getting by today. A smart, scalable pricing model is what funds your future. It's the engine for your growth. It's the money you need to hire that amazing person, to launch that big marketing campaign, to innovate and create even better products. And if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Growth doesn't come from being the cheapest. That is a race to the bottom that you do not want to win. Real, sustainable growth comes from being valued right. It's about knowing your worth, communicating it with confidence, and finding the customers who see it too. So, I'm going to leave you with this one question. Your pricing isn't just a number on a tag. So, what does it say you're worth? Go take a hard look at your price list. What story is it really telling about your hard work, your creativity, and your brand?